Hi, I'm Sarah Williams. Today we're here at Flanders Morrison Funeral Home, and we've got two of the fellas here that work here. If you ever come into Flanders Morrison, you'll see these two guys. We've got Audie and Ernie here. And before I start talking to them, I just want you to know that if you ever are in need of funeral services, this is the place to come. Tommy, along with these two gentlemen, they are so professional and so compassionate, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company. So first of all, thank you very much for being with us and welcome. First question I always want to ask someone who does something like this, because, you know, when you tell people that you work in a funeral home, I'm sure a lot of people say, what in the world? Why would you do that? You know, why would you choose to do that? My question is, Audie, you know, why would you choose to work in a funeral home?
Well, I see working in the funeral industry is a calling, and I think that it takes a special person to do what we do on a daily basis, and sometimes with no break of seeing what we do sometimes see.
I agree, and you know, I think one of the reasons that people choose a funeral home is you want to choose a place where people are really going to care about your loved one, because you want them to be treated with the utmost respect.
Sure.
You know, you want to know that when they come in here that they are going to be treated just in a professional, loving manner.
Sure.
And I think that you all do that, you know, don't you? I mean, I feel like you all do that. Why did you decide to go into this profession, Ernie?
I had worked with the oil and lube oil industry for 20 years, and semi-retired, and I was just looking for a place to really be fulfilled. I like people, and met Tommy, and we started out on a trial basis, and I just love to help people. And people need a guiding hand and a shoulder sometime, or, you know, just somebody to come around and put the arm around them.
Right.
You know, at times.
And you got to be that kind of person that's willing to go out there and do that. What is so special about working here, working with Tommy and working in this community?
Well, I think Tommy's a great guy to work with. Out of everybody that I think we've probably worked for throughout the years, he's a real caring person, and Pembroke is a very small town, and I love that small town feel where everybody knows the local funeral director.
Right. How about you? What makes this place such a...
Tommy really encourages us to you know, spend time with people, pray with people if we need to. On that first introduction to the hospital or to hospice, if the family is inclined, you know, we can pray with the people, and you don't have that with across the industry. And,
I'll tell y'all, when my grandmother died, I remember we called Tommy, and she had been in hospice, and Rex and another gentleman came out and got her, and the way that they handled that whole situation, it made me feel so good when they pulled up and walked in the house, you know, knowing that my grandmother was going with two people that I really liked and respected, and I knew where she was going. So, and that was a situation too where after we did a funeral here, a small service here, her body was shipped to North Carolina to her hometown where we did another funeral, and everything was handled from beginning to end. And you all can handle everything, correct?
Sure, we can.
So from insurance to cremation to burials, monuments, anything
Sure.
along those lines.
Anything dealing with the funeral aspect.
If you were going to give advice to someone out there today, you know, someone like us, you know, pretty healthy and whatnot, you know, we really aren't thinking about dying anytime soon unless something unforeseen happens. What kind of advice would you give people as far as planning ahead?
I would say plan ahead. That's the smartest thing that can be done, because then it takes that burden off of somebody, off of your family member,
right,
when you do pass away.
You know, I've talked about my mother before, but also my husband and I, you know, our caskets are picked out. If we should die, our children don't have to worry about picking out a casket. And I'll tell you this too, and people may think that this is crazy, but I'm going to tell you what. I came in here and I looked in the casket room for my mom and dad, and with my mom and dad, and it wasn't that bad. And I think I've told this story before, and I said, you know, that really wasn't that bad. And Tommy said, well, if it was one of your children and one of your children had just died, that would have been really hard. And I started crying right then, and I said, I can't do that. I don't think I could do that. And so Tommy said, would you like to go back in? And I went back in, and I have a casket picked out. If anything should ever happen to one of my children, I don't have to go back in that room, and I don't have to pick it out.
Exactly.
And I'm going to tell you, I hope to God that I never ever have to use that. but the peace of mind that I have knowing that I don't have to do that if something should happen to one of
Exactly.
my children. So would you suggest that people come in and do things like that too?
Most definitely. Whether you pay for it or you just put it down on file, either way, your loved ones don't have to be bothered or to worry about having to what would dad or what would mom
Right.
want.
What would your recommendation be to someone out there?
I have lost both my parents, and with Dad, we had to go through the grueling Sunday and make all these plans. Mom, she said she wasn't going to put us through that, and there was not a question. We knew exactly what she wanted, as far as dress, earrings, everything, and.
There is even a sheet of paper that you can fill out about your obituary, so that the day that you die, your children and family members aren't running around trying to figure out where mom graduated from high school, or what mom's brother's middle name was, or what grandma's name was, and that sort of thing. Am I right?
You are correct.
So and anyone can come in and get that sheet of paper, can't
Yes,
they?
they can. All they do is come get it, fill it out, and they can bring it back to us. They can even email it to us.
Right, and then you just keep it in a file. And so my husband and I did that too. And actually, ours is in a file at my house. I probably need to bring it to you. But where we actually went through, and my husband, his parents are no longer living, but I have his mother's name and his father's name,
Sure.
so that I know, I'm not running around looking to see how to spell that, at the last minute. And again, hopefully we don't have to use these things for a long, long time, but it's there. And I
Exactly.
don't you think that's something that people just need to be?
Sure,
Death is bad enough as it is, but it doesn't have to be just absolutely horrible.
Sure.
Because you can pre-plan it.
Sure. It's just like car insurance. You got to have it. It's there in case you ever need it.
Right. And we're all going to need this. I mean, we're all at some point going to die, and our relatives are going to die at some point. So, and why would you say come here versus going somewhere in our surrounding area?
Well, our motto is big enough to serve, small enough to care, and I think that we really do try to walk that every day. I think that we honestly do care about the people that we serve, and we do everything that we can to give each family 100% of our time, either whether we have one family or five at a certain time. We try everything that we can, because we're so small, to give everybody 100%.
How about you?
Whether it's a $5,000 funeral or a $10,000 funeral, the people receive the same amount of care. You wouldn't know that there was a difference in price. And prices are all over the board, but there's something that can fit your budget.
Sure.
And there's just some good people up here.
I agree. Well, thank you both
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. I appreciate it. And if you're looking for a great gift to give your family members, I think a great gift to give your family members in 2016 would be to come up here,
Christmas
talk to
is
y'all.
coming up.
And like you said, you don't have to pay for anything right off the bat, even if you just have a file. I have a file up here that says, this is what I want. Do something and make it easier on your family members down the line. It's folks like y'all that make it a bearable process to go through. So for that, we appreciate it. And I do think it is a calling, and I think you are both called for this. And for you all following that calling, we are all very, very appreciative. Thank y'all.